Hi guys, so I'm here today to talk about energy etheric implants and my experiences with taking them out and removing them from my body. Now it may be really confusing for you, and when people automatically hear implants, we associate that with physical solid implants. But the reality is, and not many people know about this, so this is why I'm making this video. It's actually very, very important for you to learn how to remove these if they're on you, and learn how to remove these off other people, because what I've been through since 2014 with the men in black and the reptilians implanting my body, almost every night it happened, and it was very traumatic. And I made another video, but it was too much and I cried in it because it was literally, it's 2017. This has been happening since early 2014, so there's a lot of built-up trauma in there, and I don't really want to talk about everything, but I feel that people need to know about this. It's very important, and if not, everybody should know about this who's doing UFO research or some kind of awakening with the channel. This could be happening to you, and you possibly at this very moment could have an etheric energy implant in your brain, on your neck, or on your spinal area. They can also put it on your wrists. They can also barcode you as well. And with barcodes and what I'm talking about, when I talk about etheric, these can't be seen. So when we think of solid, when we hear the word implants, we think of solid physical implants straight away. But the thing is, since the men in black and the reptilians can go into the fourth dimension, they're able to be invisible and to walk into our room when we sleep at night and implant us on the back of our spine, or anywhere on the spinal area, or anywhere they choose. Most of the time, if you're highly psychic or you can see very well and you're talking about stuff they don't want you to talk about, and they've found out about you, they'll put brain implants, etheric brain implants in your brain. And this is what's been happening to me for several years now, and I haven't spoken about it, but I want to speak about it now because I do not want this to happen to anyone else. I do not want anyone else to suffer and not know about what's happening with them and what these implants can do. And that's why I'm here talking in this video, because I do not want anyone else to suffer. So please, the techniques and what I'm talking about in this video, if you feel someone's being affected by etheric energy implants or even physical implants, please guide them to my video, give them a link, and let them watch it. Or feel free to share with anyone that you wish to share with. So with solid implants, we would think, as an example, this is a pen cap. We would think of physical implants as a solid object. And there are physical implants that ETs put into people. Now the ETs that are doing this with people are usually the Greys and the reptilians. But there are also a few other alien species who work with our governments and have been given permission to implant us. Now not everyone has these physical implants. I mean, this is a pen cap, I'm just showing this as an example, but people do have implants that are quite small, ranging from different sizes to different implants and things that the ETs put into humans to study us for experiments. Okay, so if you can imagine this physical, now people who are abducted by aliens who are being experimented on, some people may know, some people may not know, because they can abduct you while you're sleeping and put an implant in you, and they can blank your mind. You will not remember anything. Now the reptilians have come for me while I've been sleeping, and they have a device to make sure everyone stays asleep in the house, and it makes sure they stay asleep and they don't wake up. So they will walk into the house and turn off all the lights, and they have a device that turns off all the lights. They have a device that will make you stay asleep. And so they've taken me from the bed while I've been asleep, and I know this because I've seen it, and I can see the blankets falling off me, and they're pulling me into another dimension where I go invisible. So my body's solid, and then it's not there because they've moved me. The reptilian has moved me into another dimension, and there's a spaceship out in the sky. Now I live next to a creek, so there's a lot of you know, I've seen a lot of crafts. Being me psychic and a very developed third eye, I can see aliens around me, and I can also see spacecraft that would be invisible to most people. I can see all of this, anything, implants. I can see implants on people. I can see energies. So there are other psychics who can also do this, and it's a good thing, you know, because we can help you. We can help others and tell them that this is what's happening. This is what the men in black, this is what reptilians are doing. And believe me, I want peace. I do not want to be attacked by these reptilians. They're very powerful. I'm not going to lie to you, because they do control the earth. And I'm not going to like tell you that everything's happy, you know, and the world's a beautiful place, because it's not perfect. The world we live in isn't perfect. Anyway, I'm talking too much. So anyway, with this physicals, if you can imagine this pen cap as a physical solid implant. Now, when I talk about an etheric energy implant, I'm talking about something that's made of energy. Now, psychics will be able to see them, or people with that third eye, very developed, will be able to see these. And even if you can't see these, if you wave your hand over your head, over your wrist, over part of your neck, you may be able to feel something there with your energy. And so luckily it's a good thing. You don't have to be super psychic to be able to feel if one of these is on you. Now keep in mind there may be other things that will be on you, but I will make another video about that. For now, I'm just going to talk about these implants. Okay, so imagine this, but in an energy form. So it would be invisible, but it would still be there. And that's pretty much what they're putting into people who they don't like, people who are giving out information that they don't want people to be talking about, to be sharing with others. If you're doing UFO research, if you have a channel, if you're doing some kind of awakening on a certain topic that the Illuminati, that the New World Order, the global elite do not want you to do, the reptilians do not want you to talk about, you will most likely have one of these in you, or they would have already come for you, and you've obviously dealt with them, which would be most unlikely, because the reptilians are very smart, and so they know they don't want to be known. So what they'll do is they'll make you, if they're going to abduct you, they'll make sure that you're asleep, and that you stay that way, and you don't wake up, and that you don't remember anything at all. Now that would be able to hide your identity and make the person believe that they're going insane when they're not really insane at all. They're completely sane and completely awakened to the truth and what's happening around them. Now, we are not stupid. We are not, humans are very intuitive. We can feel energies. Even if you're not psychic, you can still feel that there's something in the room with you. And there most likely is. There is another dimension beside us, and the aliens can go into this dimension next to our third dimension, and they can materialize into our third dimension and go back and forth. And what, I don't want to talk about the reptilians too much, but what I'm going to tell you is most important is, so I'll show you, as well as implants. So if you can imagine, this is actually a GPS, but if you can imagine this as an etheric implant, it'll be on the back of your spine like this, and it's invisible, but it's certainly there, very much there. And they can make people go mad with this. Like, I feel like I got something on me, but I think I can't feel anything there, but I feel like something's there. So they'll make people, you know, some people may go mad from this, and nobody's mad. Everybody is just, if you feel like something is there, if you feel like something's on you, then it's on you. So this is one like similar to one I had on me, etheric implant. I can't tell you, if I give you an estimate of how many of these and how many different implants and rods, black rods, I've taken out of my body, as well as other things the reptilians and men in black have put in, it would be at least 70 to 100 maybe. And this is all over my body, and sometimes they completely wire. You know, this is only if you're really getting attention, and they're afraid of you. And this is how they've controlled me for since the beginning. I would have made way more videos and put in way more in my book Dark Skies, which is on Kindle, and it's on Smashwords, and it's available as an ebook. So if you look up Dark Skies, Awakening Humanity to Aliens Existence, that's my ebook that I wrote, and you can have a look at the different chapters. I wrote a chapter about the reptilians, and a chapter about greys, about other things the ETs wanted to talk about. And I'm actually in the process of writing Dark Skies too. I'm actually going to call it another name, Ascending Skies, so because I don't like the association with the dark, and I associate the second book with coming out into the light. Anyway, so so with these etheric implants, if you're psychic, you'll be able to feel them, and if not, you'll just try and tune into the energies and feel on your body if you have one, with your hands, with your senses, with your third eye. Even if you want, you can still wave your hands over parts of your body and feel and pulse with your energy and feel if something's there. And I'll show you, like, these are physical objects, but it's pretty much the same thing. I see wiring this. So as well as the implants, what you will also, if you have one, they'll also have, you may have wiring, and this is only a few. This is like, there'll be other things that I've taken off, etheric implants and wiring that I've taken off my body, and stuff like this, you know, as an example, you know, just so much wiring I've taken off. This has been happening to me for a few years now. It's very important that I talk about these implants and what they can do. With the brain implants, it's very important that anyone who believes they have one in them, so let's just listen to this part. Just like a microchip, with implants, and I would believe this would be the same for physical implants as well. With a microchip, you can encode programming into a implant and put whatever you want to put in there. Now, people can't see these etheric implants, so men in black, reptilians, whoever wants to drive someone insane, to mind control someone, they'll be able to do it, and it won't be seen at all, unless they have a physical implant, which they can do as well. But most likely, if they don't want you to know that they've done that, it will be an energy invisible version of this. Now this is just like a GPS as an example, but that's what some of the implants literally look like, and they have antennas coming out of them, and some of them are different sizes. You have ones that are very, very small, but to very big, black rods about this thin and this wide, you know. So they've got all sorts of different things, and they're usually, the ones they've put into me were very harmful things, really, really bad things. And if prolonged exposure to these things could probably cause you cancer and kill you, especially a physical implant, you know, God knows what they've developed. And you know, me telling you this will help you one step ahead, one step further from what, you know, add to the puzzle of what they're hiding from us. Okay, so they can mind control someone with an implant. They can drive someone insane. They can put images. Now, with the brain implants, they can produce holograms. So if one of these is in your head, inside, they put it right inside near the pineal gland, because they know that if they don't want someone to use their third eye or their psychic abilities, they want to stuff people up and make them go crazy, they'll put them in the brain implant in the pineal gland. And they know that very well. It's the seat of the soul, so they can manipulate and do whatever. There's a reason for it, and they know that. That's why they put it there. So what in turn they'll try and do is make you see holograms, things that aren't real. So visions of things that... Now with psychics, we know what's a real vision, and we know what's not us, what's not really a vision, if it's a hallucination or something that's been put into our head. So there are real visions. We have visions of people, places, you know, and it's reality. But with these ones, they can cause you negative hallucinations, believe it, and they also cause you mental illness as well. Now, with a mental illness, it can also be another aspect, so don't fully rely on this as possession or mental illness, because the possession causes mental illness, and they're caused by the unclean spirits and the demons, right? So it's important to check if you also have something else inside you that needs to be cleansed out of your soul and out of your body, and you need to do a separate healing for that. And I'll make another video on that topic, but right now I just want to stick on this one. But it all relates together, you see. And if it's not possession, it'll be one of these putting thoughts. They can also another thing, they can also put etheric ear implants inside your ear. And they've also, I believe I've heard of people, they've already developed physical ear implants that they can put into people's ears and make people hear things. But with the etheric energy ear implants, they can talk to you, talk in your head, tell you very negative things, what you want to hear, what they want you to hear, you know. And at the end of these receiving end, or where the implants are receiving back to, are people that look like Men in Black, Secret Service, and the people that know about this, that are working for the reptilians, who are doing their job. And they've told me that for the last few years now, we're just doing a job, we're sorry. And I don't know if I forgive them, but it's certainly something I want to tell people about, because I do not want them to do this to other people. It's not fair, and it's cruel. And I know the only reason reptilians do this is because they want to control people that they think are going out of control. If you're saying too much, they keep them under control and put those implants on them, keep them quiet. You know, any available method that they have, whether it's mind control or the implants or black magic, they also do that as well. I'll talk to you about that in another video. So it's all related together. Everything that I'm talking about relates to each other, and they're all doing these things. And like, but luckily also another thing I want to say is that if you are doing UFO research or anything like that, you'll most likely be already protected by the ETs. Even if you can't see them, you will already have protection from the Galactic Federation of these ETs as a galactic federation. And you will already have automatic protection, anyone who's doing UFO disclosure research and you know, anything like that. But sometimes, you know, the ETs can't protect everyone, and then they'd end up dying. You know, the UFO researchers, you would have heard about a few of them that have died recently. I'm not surprised. You know, they're very powerful and not to be messed with, the Illuminati and the reptilians. you know, and I do my best not to trot on their toes and piss them off, because they've shown me in 3 years that they want full control of every situation over people, and do not want people speaking out about what they don't want you to speak about. So with a picture, I'll just show you now. You would have seen a picture of the full body and where the men in black and reptilians love to implant you. And because they love to implant people, there's an example, just draw a really bad diagram here. So because the brain is here, so we'll draw a really bad, really bad diagram of someone's brain. Because it's connected to the spinal area here, so it has no neural connections. So these are the most favorite places for them to implant you. Here is another one. I've taken so many. They've stopped putting implants on me there, and after I talk about this, I'll probably put it back on, put some more on me just because they're evil. So they've stopped putting in there, and what they've done now, because they know I'm too smart and I've learned to take them off, they try and make them invisible or put them under the skin. And I know it sounds really weird, like putting an energy implant under your skin, but you'll figure it out. It's kind of weird, but it's made of energy. So energy can go through our body, and that would include energy that we would use to create an implant, which is how they make these etheric energy implants. Here, here, oh my God, like they can wire the entire area here and do whatever they want to do with you. Ear implants. Just make a note here. Ear implants. You know, make you hear things, etc. So this is for the area that is usually here, this area that they put it, or here in the brain. They'll put usually this, they love this area where they're in the middle of the brain, the pineal gland. They love to go for that area and stuff your psychic abilities up. They don't want anyone to become psychic. They don't want anyone to develop telekinesis or evolve and get attention, especially because it's going to teach the others. That's what they've done to me. So they know I was trying to develop telekinesis and extra things, like extra abilities and things like this, and you know, develop my abilities further. And they're scared of that. They're like, well, we don't want you to develop telekinesis or any type of ability. Then go around making videos about this, because we want people to stay mind-controlled slaves. We don't want them to evolve. We don't want humans to become powerful. We want them to conform, to submit to our programming and listen to what we have to tell them on the radio, on the news, on the TV, and drink fluoride, eat GMOs, etc. So that is exactly why they will go for people who are getting attention, because you know, it's influencing other people, and they want people to stay controlled. You know, that's their agenda. We don't want these humans to start evolving themselves and healing themselves of cancer, and when cancer can be healed. And we don't want people to become superhuman, and we want them to stay under control. And if there was global elite, you would believe that that would be their agenda for control over us. Now with these etheric implants, alright, can you see that there? I'm going to put it for you can see that. So with an etheric implant, if we can imagine it here, let's just imagine a little black implant like this. Now we would be made of energy. And because it's made of energy, you can use energy to remove them out of your body, which is so wonderful. Except for the physical implants, which are another, difficult side to that, because you'll have to go to the doctor and get them surgically removed. And I've heard that it's quite difficult because there's encasing around them. So that's another side. I'm just going to talk about etheric implants for now. So made of energy. So you can use your own energy to remove this. Energy. Yes, you can take them off. Thank goodness. That's because we are our own gods, and we have souls. Our souls are made of light. We're very special. We're all a part of God, even if you don't believe in Him. We're part of the light, or the beginnings of wholeness in the universe, whatever you choose to believe in. Anyway, so what you would do is, if they've made this implant, you can send your energy towards the implant to disable it. So I'll write down some words here. And you would imagine sending energy, disable, dissolve, or destroy. Dissolve. Disable, 3 Ds. D, D, D. Disable them, dissolve them with white light energy. That would only go to the implant. So you just imagine these going towards the implant and dissolving it away. Destroy them. Could break them apart with your energy and remove them. And remove them. You can either do any of these things, but you would definitely need to remove them. Remove, dissolve, disable, dissolve, destroy, remove. So it would be important to disable it first, or just completely remove it. Now, keep in mind, you have to be careful, and what I'm going to tell you, and I hope this helps some of you out there. With some of the implants, when you try and remove them, there'll be wires stuck to it. Or these energy implants, there'll be wires. So when you come to take these out, just say you got one at the back of your neck. And you go, oh, I'm going to take it out now, and you realize, oh, it's tugging, because you got all this wire here. So what you need to do as well, is not only to do all that, but also cut the wiring so that you'll be able to take this off. You also need to take the wiring out as well. So that's very important, and actually you would include the wiring as well. So you would just remove it. And how you would remove, just cut. If you find it's tugging and it's not coming off so easily, use more energy, or find out if there's any wiring and cut them off. Just imagine a pair of pliers and cut them off. And try not to. It takes a lot of control with this, and so you need to definitely practice and keep doing it. But I'm very sure that most of you watching this video will pick it up straight away. And some of you may just need to ask for help from the ETs, and they can also help you as well. So you can remove these from your body. So just keep in mind about that wiring, because you'll find out if it's tugging a little bit. It's usually what's on it. Crystals that can help remove these implants. Okay. As well as doing this, sending your own energy to the crystals, sending your own energy to the implants to disable them, you can also use crystals that can help remove the implants. And one of them that I like to use, I found out, was black tourmaline, which when I use it, what I noticed it's doing, so it's called black tourmaline, and this one's, you can find them on eBay at any crystal store that you walk into, ask them for black tourmaline and they can get it for you. So basically removes negative energy. But what I see it doing, honestly, when I use it on myself and my hands, so when I have my hand and I see it's going over, because you have little meridian lines going through here, little energy lines that look like veins. So what this does, when I pass it over, I see it acting like a laser, and it lasers negative energy. So I just see this zapping is literally, when I pass it over, it's zapping and removing negative energy, and you see the area becoming better. And there's light, or hot, like looks like heat or white light. It's like a laser for negative energy, so it's really good. And you also need to, what you can do with this, if you have one, you can bless them and call on the angels, Archangel Michael, your spirit guides, the Arcturians, anyone that you believe that will protect your crystal, and bless it, because you don't want them to turn it off if you're starting to take them out, because they will. They've done it to me. They've tried to turn off, disable mine, because they don't want me using it, but I turn it back on anyway. If not, all you do, if you find it's not working, if you find they may have turned it off, which they would have, they can do that. Just send your white light healing energy into it, golden ray, and say, I now remove anything that stops me from using this crystal, and stopping my crystal from working. I now remove you from this crystal, and you're gone. And you may be able to see something black fall out of it or come out of it. Now, if your crystal's fine, it'll be, if you have a protection around it, particularly from the angels, if you ask them to protect your black tourmaline crystals, you'll see a golden encasing around it. And that's the angelic protection that they have over these. Here's another big one. This is another big black tourmaline one. I absolutely loved it. They're so good to remove negative energy from your room, at work, around your house. They're really good. So this is one I have, and he's cool. I have another one, but yeah, just show you this one. So there maybe I would just write down the ones I think work for me, but I'm pretty sure others out there may have their own crystals that they feel have worked. But for me, what I'm going to tell you is what I found has removed them, and anything else. Even like, it also removes not only implants, it removes negative energy, dark energies, black magic. And then you just place it here and start pulling, and you'll notice all this black energy being pulled out. Keep pulling it out until it's out. Or it'll, whatever works for you. That's what I see happening when I use it. But yeah, black tourmaline is very good. Black tourmaline, which is the one crystals I just showed you here. Yep, cool. You can find them at your crystal store on the internet. Also, shungite is another black crystal. And if we notice that also removes negative energy, And it's got other properties. You can look it up on the internet if you want to know more about black tourmaline and shungite. I'm just going to tell you that these can help remove negative energy in the implants. Interesting if you think of anything that's negative and dark, and these colors are also very dark colors, but black can also be a very protective color, and it transmutes all the dark negative energy into positive, or it completely removes them, but they're attracted to that and they'll suck them all up. So every once in a while you'll need to put them in the sun and cleanse them, or cleanse them with the water, cleanse them with white light, and do a prayer on it. You know, please cleanse my crystal, and so it can be used. Yeah, and there may be others. These are just the ones I'm going to tell you that worked for me. There is also selenite, which is very good as well, but I would say black tourmaline is the best. These two here. Okay, so those are two methods: using your energy to remove the implants, to dissolve them, destroy them, etc. And also the crystals that you can use. You can also use prayer, and imagine your healing energies from the prayer going into your body. And as you pray, you can imagine this white light going into your body and say the following: I now call on my angels. I now call on, you can call on whatever gods you believe in that will help you or assist you during the removal of these implants. You can call on angels, ETs, whatever you wish, you feel helps you and you believe in strongly. So you say, I now willingly dissolve and remove any implants, anything harmful and hurtful on my body that is harming me, anywhere in my body that has been implanted in me. I now remove these with my energies and ask you to be removed from my body. I ask that any angels come forward, Archangel Michael, come forward to me and heal me. Archangel Raphael, come and heal me and remove these implants from my body and let them be dissolved and removed away. You can try that. You can call on Archangel Michael for protection. You know, if you don't want it to happen again, if you find you've taken out an implant, you don't want them to do it again, you can call Archangel Raphael to heal you and take them out. Or you can do it yourself, and you are just as powerful as archangels. And so what you would do is you would just repeat that and just imagine white light entering your body, and imagine this, an energy, white light energy going into your body and searching for any implants, and have this energy beacon out at you in a pulse if there are any implants, and let you know wherever on your body it is. And if you feel or you felt something on a part of your body, send energy there or pass your hands over it, and imagine the white light attacking these implants and disabling them. And you might have to use a bit of force for this, so really force your energies in there and imagine them, you know, just say being disabled with your energies and being removed. Imagine your energy removing these gently out of your body, making sure that it's gentle. And if you see any wiring, just imagine your energy cutting the wiring, or imagine pliers, energy pliers, and cut them. Gently remove them out of your body. And you can imagine a hovering disc above your head of white light, and imagine that when this passes over your body slowly, it's going to cleanse away the implants, you know, anything else that's negative as well. And imagine this spinning disc, white light that's humming, going down into the earth and being dissolved away. Imagine it going far away, and imagine all the negative energy send white light towards it and being dissolved away. That's another thing you can do. So there's how to remove the implants. Can do send your energy towards it. To implants. Send your energy to the implants. Number 2, use the crystals. Number 3, use prayer and call on angels. Angels, God, whatever you believe in. So, yes, all these 3 methods you can use. So